I'm Michael F. Houston Nicholas, and I approve this message.
Now I would like to introduce the future of our island, Mr. Mike St. Nicholas.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so proud to be up here because from this angle I can see a whole ocean of our island's people standing in support of the one man that has been supporting us in Washington. What does it take to be in charge? It takes power, but power does not equal greatness. Greatness can only be achieved with a good heart.
As you go to cast your vote, ask yourself this question. Do you want a leader that gives you hope or hopelessness?
Like, people don't fully understand what we go through and the judgment that is passed upon us. Sooner or later, the stress gets to you.
Being homeless is hard, man. You gotta focus and try hard.
There's a difference between hopelessness and discussing the realities our people are facing. Discussing them with passion, discussing them pragmatically, discussing them with experts, discussing them with the public. Adopting a philosophy of hope because we want 4 more years is the same politics we've been having, guys. It's the same politics we've been having. And that's why we're still debating these same issues. It's not hopelessness to talk about what the people are experiencing. It's not hopelessness to talk about the struggles of our community. It's not hopelessness to talk about what we need to plan and prepare for and the realities that are associated with that. Those kind of real conversations from real people, those are the kind of things that give me hope.
Mr. President, on this island we judge our leaders by the way they serve the people.
In 4 years, we did so much that many of us didn't really believe could get done. We were able to resolve congressional issues. It doesn't take 2 terms to fix things. If you go in there with the focus, if you go in there with purpose, and if you make the people be the whole reason why you're doing the work that you do. We and I were willing to make this sacrifice if you will so have us. So we humbly ask for your support. Let's change course, Guam, and let's build a real future.
As a defense attorney, I've represented many people who, if they weren't poor or they had received a higher education, may have taken a different path. As senator, I will propose a scholarship for those whose struggles are less academic and more financial. Let's keep our university full, not our prison. I'm Thomas Fisher. I not only approved this message, I wrote it.
Paid for by Tom for Guam, Drake Diaz, Treasurer.
Huff Day. I'm Will Parkinson, and I'm standing in the bush. I'm standing in the bush because I want to be your senator. Before I ran for senator, I was actually involved in the legalization of this bush. I was one of the original advocates that supported Senator Clint Rogel when he legalized this bush. And if you elect me senator, I promise I will make sure no one ever makes this bush illegal ever again. So please, vote for me, Will Parkinson, number 8 on the ballot. Thank you.
And I'm Will Parkinson, and I endorse this message.
That's great. Like, hopefully the baddest guy joining this and find me. This is from his house.
With many accolades and celebrations.
Hafa day and welcome to Kandit's edition of the Daily Crime Report. I'm Johnny Rosario.
And I'm Danielle Baza.
It is August 24th. On this wet Wednesday afternoon, hump day.
Yeah.
Is it getting exciting? Like you could feel the pressure of this weekend's election.
So excited.
So please make sure you guys get out there Saturday morning. It starts at 7. I don't even want to tell you what times it ends because I want you guys there early to vote.
Yes.
Before we get into the two Maggies that we have today, I just want our viewers to know that something has happened to one of our Kandit kids, a medical emergency. We don't know exactly yet what is going on, but we do know she is being referred off island because they don't have the treatment or the care to figure out what's going on with her. She's one of the Kandit kids. It's one of our kids. So today is a very gloomy day. We're trying to figure things out, how to get her and her mom to the care that she needs. So you'll be hearing more from us. I think we're gonna do a GoFundMe. So be prepared for that. Right now, Eric needs your prayers. So we'll have probably a GoFundMe starting tomorrow morning. We're gonna get that off the ground today. Okay, let's get into it. So the first one, we don't have pictures yet. They're taking forever, and we need to get this done because we have kids that need to get picked up from school. On or about August 23rd at approximately 2:55 p.m., Guam police officers arrived responded to a terrorizing complaint at a residence in Dedido. The victim reported that her ex-boyfriend, Kobe Joel Taisagui, pointed a gun at her. The victim and the defendant were in a relationship for approximately 3 years. Earlier that day, the victim answered the door to her parents' residence and saw the defendant. The defendant had asked her what had happened and why she left him. He then attempted to the victim out of the residence. Okay, I'm just reading this verbatim.
Mine too has some.
Okay, the victim told the defendant to get out. When she was able to get the defendant out of the residence, the defendant came back to the residence and continued to argue, push, and had pulled at the victim. The defendant then went back to his vehicle. The defendant's vehicle was a black Scion TC and was parked 10 feet away from the victim. The victim observed the defendant point a silver handgun at her. While pointing the gun at the victim, the defendant said, quote, "I'll effing find you," end quote. The defendant drove away from the residence. This author learned that the victim was terrified when she saw the defendant with the gun. What does that mean?
This author learned.
Yeah.
The person that's writing it learned.
I don't know. The defendant was later, man, the AG's office, get it together.
Tighten up, guys. Tighten up. Because, it was messy.
The defendant was later located after the officers confirmed that the defendant was the owner and operator of the black Scion TC. The defendant gave the officers consent to search his vehicle. The defendant then spontaneously uttered, quote, "It's just a BB gun," end quote. The vehicle search yielded a BB handgun, black and silver in color, found on the passenger seat of the Scion. The report indicates that the defendant was advised of his Miranda rights and that he had acknowledged and waived those rights. The report also indicates that the defendant admitted to arguing with the victim, that he and the victim shoved each other, that then he grabbed the victim, and then he grabbed his airsoft gun and pointed the gun at the victim's direction. They are charging Kobe Joel Taisagui with terrorizing and two charges of family violence.
Well, maybe they're just understaffed because Okay, so on or about May 12, 2021 in Guam, the Guam Police Department responded to a home on West Santa Barbara Avenue, Dedido, after receiving a report of, I just inserted that report because there's a blank here, a report of a screaming female at the residence. At said location, police met with a witness who informed them that she had been hearing a female screaming for several days but was not sure where it was coming from. The witness further informed the police that her minor son had told her that the minor son of the landlord of the residence had stated, "Don't mind the noise, Daddy just has Mom tied up for not listening." The landlord was subsequently identified to be the defendant, Alex Caldito Valdrez. The wife of the landlord was subsequently identified to be the victim. Police went to the residence that was identified as the defendant's residence and met with the defendant, who asked to check on the victim. The defendant stated to the police that he had to tie her up because she was out of her medicine and was breaking everything. Defendant further stated that his wife was mental and that there was no medicine for her on the island. Defendant thereafter escorted the investigating officers to a room in the house. The police observed a wooden door with holes in it and heard a female adult from within the room asking for water. When officers looked through the hole, they observed the victim, who was sitting on the floor and looked disheveled. The officers also observed that the door to the room had a makeshift locking system using a screw, a hook, and nylon rope, which was locking the door from the outside. After undoing the system, police entered the room and further observed the victim was wearing only a red t-shirt and pink torn-up panties, which exposed her pubic area. The victim had an intense odor of urine coming from her body. It was further observed that there was a thick black nylon belt locked with a padlock around the center of her torso. That belt was padlocked to a yellow toe strap, which was bolted into the south wall of the room. The police demanded to know where the keys were, and the defendant pointed to hanging along the entrance of the hallway. When the bindings were removed from the victim, officers observed severe redness, swelling, and purple bruising along the victim's torso where the belt had been tied. The victim again requested for water and thereafter rapidly consumed 3 large glasses of water. Officers further observed that there was a bucket in the room that was half full of urine and feces. Defendant subsequently admitted that he had tied up the victim with the strap and claimed he did so that he could take care of all of the kids. He claimed that she had been tied up from around midnight till around 9 in the morning. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to charge Alex Caldito Valdrez with felonious restraint and family violence, both as third-degree felonies. I really want to know how he looks.
Okay, we will have the magistrates up with pictures. As soon as the pictures do come in, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yep. That poor woman. But this is from May 12th, 2021.
I don't know why they're just charging him now.
I don't know. Lately on the Magis, I've been seeing a lot of dates that are just like
off, right?
Super off.
Most of the time, it's most of the
They just found them.
Either they just no.
What?
I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah. You remember that one I was telling you about the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just.
It could be the officers might just be turning in their reports now.
That's just nuts. Well, we still didn't get any word back from Sabella.
Nothing about the attack on Cayo Borja in Jigo. But we did hear from his mom that he is recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. But we will follow up with that. Yeah. And these dates that are weird, I think it could be 2 things, right? The police not turning in their reports on time, or most of the time, the cases, most of the times when the dates are screwed up, it's drug cases, too. You know, most of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Please be careful driving out there. We slipped on the road a little bit. I knew how to drive. I'm just kidding.
Please look out for the GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, we'll be preparing that right now. We just please, all we ask from you right now is prayers for Eric and his family, and we will let you guys know what is going on, and I think a lot of our attention will be towards that.
And please schedule your day on Saturday around voting.
Oh yeah.
We're so excited.
Yes. Please vote. If you don't want to vote for yourself, please vote for your children or your grandchildren. It is their future that
matter.
is. Yes. So have a great day. Drive safely, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
A great humanitarian once said that the difference between a career politician and a leader is the politician cares about the number of years served, and the leader just cares about serving. This defines Senator Chris Duenas. He is a seasoned statesman whose focus has always been on being a champion for the masses and a fighter for the truth. Re-elect Senator Chris Duenas, speaking up for you.
I am Chris Duenas, and I approve this message.
Edward Alvarez, Treasurer.
Hey Siri,
Hello, Mr. Sugar Free.
can you compile all my video clips into one video file and send that to the family chat? And include this text message. I'm all in.
No problem. It's nice to have one's work appreciated. Have a watch. 4 years ago, Bebeloo and Josh.
Is to create a safe, fair, compassionate, and prosperous government. And despite a global pandemic that shut down our economy along with the rest of the world, we kept our island going.
You can't give up on hope. Each other's hand we hold. We're on a long, hard road when we're traveling together. We pull each other up. We'll fill each other's cup. So we all have enough. We're all in this together. Ooh, how we there. So stand up if you can. Take a moment and think how we come so far, and now we're all in this together. For all and not just some, for the many, not just one. And we're so far from done, we're all in this together. Oh, no time to back down. Run away to higher ground. Oh, yeah. We can make a way each and every day. You need a vote and say, let's move it forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, our work in front of us has a lot to do with making sure that the spirit of Guam is alive in everybody, making sure that those that have been marginalized are getting services. For our Manamtu, our Manhoban, who are looking for a brighter future so that they can continue living peacefully on this island.
We're halfway there.
4 more years.
So stand